We are back for another week in the markets. Crypto is bleeding with total market cap below 1 trillion. Tech is pumping ahead of CPI on Wednesday. We'll be discussing all of that and more today on Money Never Sleeps. Welcome back, everybody. As we get going today, hit those buttons down below, like, subscribe, drop a comment, get in on the conversation with us. Nothing that Kevin or I say is financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We're a few guys who love following the markets, making our plays. Do your own research, though, before making buys or sells. Kev, we saw a move down in the crypto market today. We're finding some key levels of support, trying to hold there. Bitcoin is approaching 25K. Total market cap of crypto went under $1 trillion. We have stablecoin dominance over 11% now. People are getting a little bit panicked here. Meanwhile, on the flip side, tech absolutely pumping. Tesla is up over 10% today, just about $26 a share on some news that we'll cover momentarily. Where do you want to get going with this first? What is catching your eye as we start what could be a very volatile week with some important data beginning on Wednesday?
Yeah, dude, there's so much data that came out over the weekend going into today and this morning. Obviously, has been, I don't know. I feel like I haven't, even though I got home late last night, I tried to get some sleep. I've been up the entire time just reading and seeing all these, numbers come out. I'll let you choose where you want to go, man. I got so much stuff to go over today, but
Okay.
You can kick it off.
Let's quickly look to the week ahead. No economic data today, nothing tomorrow. It gets going on Wednesday. We'll get CPI and core CPI. The headline number of CPI. It's so funny to me. Let me just go off on a tangent for a second. Everyone loves talking about the headline number when the headline number is down. But this time around, no, we're not going to talk about that because the headline number is going to be up. What's expected to be down is the core number because that takes out food and energy. So let's talk about that instead, because the expectation is that the headline CPI number is going to come in at 3.6% year over year. That will be up from last month when it came in at 3.2%. The core number is supposed to be at 4.3% year over year, down from 4.7 last time. So now that we got to go for the positive data, right? I really find the Fed's obsession with the core number to be really, really fucking annoying due to the fact that energy and food is a huge part. Right now, the only thing people can afford to spend money on are shelter, food, and energy. And that's really the basics. And so when we dismiss that number on the months where it's bad and you're just oh, well, it's just seasonally adjusted, blah, blah, blah. I heard today oil is at a 12-year high when you for this time of year. That is not great. That is setting us up for more and more pain. So we get CPI on Wednesday. Thursday, we get initial jobless claims, producer price index, and another important one is going to be retail sales. That was up last month. Do we begin to see that trend down, especially now that we're going to have student loan repayments begin next month? So that is what is coming in the week ahead. We'll discuss CPI on Wednesday. The Tesla news came out this morning. They were upgraded to overweight by Morgan Stanley due to the potential of their supercomputer Dojo, which will be used to power AI models for autonomous vehicles. First off, Tesla has already had a lot of problems with that. So long-term, sure, this could be great. They upgraded their price target from $250 to $400, and they also said that the market cap of Tesla could increase by 76% just off of that. And as a result, we are seeing this crazy move up in Tesla today. I'm not saying that they have smart people over there. Is it a $26 per share move up in a time where we're seeing less and less people buying new cars and more people defaulting, and credit is absolutely terrible? We'll touch on consumer credit here in a second. Is it realistic that we're going to see that target anytime soon? I don't know. They're still not producing fast enough. It's a huge 10% in a day is huge for any stock. This isn't some meme coin that can go crazy in the matter of hours. This is a huge company. And so that one to me seems a little bit overblown, which the Tesla truthers are going to be like, you're an idiot, you know nothing. And maybe they're right. I don't know, man. But we've been pretty accurate with a lot of our calls so far. So I'll just take it for that. But yeah, that's what's been kind of bringing up a lot of the NASDAQ with it. We see that Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Microsoft, Meta, all up on the day. And
Look at that.
Tesla is leading the charge there.
The only 7 that have fucking let this market run this entire year. Those 7, once again, doing great, right? Everything else,
Nvidia is lagging today. Nvidia is down on the day.
okay. But for the
other
most
than that, they're
only
like the
stocks,
black
man.
sheep of the Magnificent Seven right now.
Fucking insane. Yeah, I think the Tesla news is kind of bullshit. And again, I think goes less from what we're finding in the news and the information that they're coming out with this computer. Everything I learned about it was just from you. I didn't even know that Tesla shot up that much. But from what I'm anticipating, what I expected going into this week was 100% that they just want to sell from higher. That's just the truth. I think that a lot of these companies are heavily weighted in a lot of these top 7 stocks that are in the NASDAQ, right? Or, the Magnificent Seven that we've talked about, 7 stocks, the apocalypse, whatever you want to fucking call them. But I think that's what the majority of people's portfolios might be, heavily weighted in. I'm not surprised that Tesla's going up going into a week where we know that CPI and PPI are both coming out. We know that manufacturing's been shit, and we know that globally, right? We saw Germany's numbers absolutely dog shit. It was terrible, and Italy too. We're seeing there's a slowing in manufacturing globally. We also know that, I mean, it's not even a joke now at this point. We all know that inflation's going up. They're already putting in their models. They're estimating that it's going to be a rise, the headline, and then what is that? Where is that setting us up? If we're just rallying into this, knowing that unemployment's going up, manufacturing's going down, we know that inflation's also going up, oil's going up. This isn't what we were anticipating. This is people that know that their liquidity crunch is coming. They're trying to get the fuck out of the market. I don't blame them. And that's pretty much why we're seeing a 26% pump, because there are people that are looking at this market and being like, oh, I don't want to miss out on Tesla now. Maybe it's invalidating. No, it hasn't invalidated shit. Tesla's going where it's going. I'm not going to say it because it's not financial advice. I have my targets for it, but I think that we're seeing that with a lot of these. Nvidia, again, that Nvidia's had a fucking stellar year. They could have been selling that shit from May all the way to, I don't know, fucking August. August, it was up all time high. Even what was that? August 30 something or something like that. It's insane how much they've all shot up, but I think everyone's just trying to deleverage from some of their positions because $26 in one day. If that doesn't tell you there's a scam pump before a fucking capitulation, I don't know what does.
Yeah, it's big news that that $400 price target, that doesn't mean it's going to be $400 like in a month. Like, could I see Tesla going to $400 and beyond? Absolutely. Is that a multi-year thing? Yes. Do I think you're kind of crazy if you're rushing to buy on a day where it's up 10%? Probably, but
yeah,
you know what? Maybe I'm wrong on this one. In this market, let's go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's roll into consumer credit along with that, because we're talking about people not having enough money to buy these fucking vehicles, right? Let alone gas is probably gonna be going up too. So if you're thinking that you're gonna buy an electric vehicle, even if they slash prices, this is bullshit, because we got the consumer credit numbers on Friday, and we saw that the month prior it was 17.9 billion, right? They were anticipating that was gonna be 16 billion, and it came in at 10.4 billion. Guys, that's insane. It's a little bit less than $8 billion under, the previous month. So even though they had anticipated that it would go down, we're sitting at 10.4 billion for consumer credit, and we know that we have student loans that are being due next month, which they're already anticipating is to be another $10 billion or so. That's going to be I don't know exactly what part of consumer credit, but we know that it's going to be stranglehold on a lot of people. We know that it's about $200 per month on average that these people are going to have to start paying, and only I think of the 500,000 or something like that, I believe it's like 45,000 are the ones that are consistently making payments. So we're in a place right now where even if Tesla does, the value of the stock goes up, it doesn't mean that the corporate profits are going to go up as well. There is a huge crunch right now, and these numbers are just showing that consumers have no money to spend, and it's just going down slowly. And I mean, not even slowly; it's going fast now. Even Jamie Dimon came out today and said that consumer savings are, the excess consumer savings are starting to dwindle down. They're starting to level off. That's not a good sign. That's a terrible fucking sign.
Yeah, I saw he also was quoted saying that, like, if you're expecting the economy to boom, you're in for a rude awakening, something along those lines. Which, hey, I
Yeah,
actually agree with them for once. That
I do too.
might be the most shocking thing that's happened in a while. Let's get into some of the charts because I know that is especially on the crypto side, we are seeing this move down today in ETH. It is in the mid 1500s. Bitcoin is hanging right around just over 25,000. It looks like it could just fall off a cliff at any second now. Where do you want to begin with this? The dollar is weakening today with this risk on appetite that people have, that maybe, a little too soon there. What we're seeing oil continuing to make a nice little move up. Brent crude back over 90 at almost 91. Treasuries are moving, especially the longer duration ones, as people prepare, bond traders prepare for a recession. What do you want to look at? Because there's a lot to go over, and I want to try to get through as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with crypto. I do want to also talk about a few stocks or things that I think we should be looking for value, even though, seems like the markets are turbulent. So we'll start with crypto. We'll get into the important stuff and then we'll take a look at some of that stuff after. But let's start with Bitcoin because Bitcoin obviously is going to be the one that everyone should keep an eye on. Obviously, this weekend we got a lot of information about FTX having, some Bitcoin, mainly Solana, that we thought was going to lead to a sell-off. I think a lot of people reacted negatively to that. I think a lot of people are saying that it's an overreaction, but at the same time, it's been in the charts. We'll take a look at Solana as well. But everything's been in the charts, guys. This is a pattern that we were anticipating. We needed 5 waves down for this first wave, one down, and we're almost there. We got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. We're in the middle of wave 5, I believe, right now, and that's why we closed, or not closed, but we're currently below $25,280. I was texting you in house in the group chat. I said once it goes below there, it's going to move fast, and it dropped instantly, like $200, like in a matter of the 1 minute chart or some shit like that. But yeah, that was a huge level of support. I mean, I've covered this on the show multiple times, but we found support there, support there. It was resistance here. I mean, it's been resistance here. It's been support even back further in Bitcoin's history. Again, we're on the daily, so I'm not going to go all the way back to fucking 2020, 2021. But this has been a huge level. We broke through it, and we need to start seeing closes below it. And just to add insult to injury, here's the death cross. I mean, with this move today, there's a good chance that this is going to come down significantly. I was anticipating, Wednesday, Thursday for the death cross. I anticipated that with CPI and PPI data, but this is a pretty big move for Bitcoin. I think that this might push us a little bit closer. Maybe even if it's tomorrow, it's Wednesday, maybe we get the death cross, as long as we don't see any scam pumps or pushes up. We saw that there was a lot of selling pressure and not enough buying pressure to hold it up. We're at good support right now. We have to keep that in mind. Nothing goes in straight moves. And again, this is not necessarily a huge move already. I think a lot of people are blowing this out of proportion. This is a good move. It's not a huge move though. We've seen worse and we will see worse. I truly believe that. This is this is literally like your toes are hanging over the cliff. And this is, the bottom of the Grand Canyon, even though it's really not that big. 23.6 remains the level of the target. Especially if we start closing below this becomes resistance. I'm sure we will retest this, a few more times. Let's go to the hourly just to take a look at seeing how resistance is working. And you can see that you're not getting above it. You're getting a couple of hourly prints below it. It's possible that we, trend sideways underneath this and we just can't get a bit above it. It's very possible. That's what I honestly anticipate. But yeah, this is not a bullish setup for Bitcoin. And again, if I look back in the daily, you can see that there's actually this blue trend line here. This blue line that's going down. That's been extreme resistance for Bitcoin in general. So I was charting this and seeing, tapped it here, tapped it here, tapped it here. Likely, if we were to push up, it'd be somewhere around here. It'd be below the 250 moving average, 26.3. We didn't get it. We didn't tap it. So that's could mean that we just are breaking down from here. Maybe we test it on the correction moving up next time. But yeah, but that's Bitcoin pretty much. We need to keep an eye on that. The daily close tonight is going to be really important because you're going to see how close we are to getting to this death cross. It's on the way. I'm not necessarily concerned about it. Again, I'm not getting ahead of myself because I know this market is stupid. And if we start to see stable coins being minted, it's a good chance we could see a scam pump. I am still extremely cautious with Bitcoin because, like I said, it wasn't a big enough move yet for us to, start celebrating. It's a good move. It's not a great one, but it definitely did impact Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance has been kicking ass, and that's why we saw most of these alts absolutely bleed off. not bleed off, but they're definitely bleeding today. You look right on the side here to the right, all this red. That's because Bitcoin dominance is climbing back, and I think I tweeted out that Bitcoin dominance is actually way higher than what it's showing on TradingView. And again, that's because we're not including stable coins. It's above 50% though. This right here is a little bit what do you call it? Misleading here. It's above 50%, and we can also see, look at USDT dominance. It's 8.45%. It's getting high. People are stabling the fuck up. There's a reason why they're afraid. They're not sure. I don't blame them. I honestly don't, because you want to preserve your wealth. There's a lot of people who are extremely bullish. We saw that longs, went underneath after this morning. I'm just looking at some of these alts right now. It's been extremely negative. Even Bitcoin right now, it's at 49.56 Bitcoin dominance off trading views. And if Bitcoin decides to go up, that's just going to hurt dominance. It hurt alts more because the dominance is going to go up, and if it bleeds, it's just going to bring it down because no one's going to have any faith in some of these altcoins. So it's looking terrible for Bitcoin. It's looking even worse for the alt market. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Like I said, total market cap. We talked about it on Friday. We said that we were going to be under $1 trillion within the next week or so. Fucking only took one episode, guys. Friday, and then here we are Monday. Went right to it, right? And again, we knew this was in the charts. And I'm not saying that like an astrologist, which, I'm not putting down astrology at all.
You're basically a witch. You're basically the 21st century version of a witch.
I'd be a warlock, I believe, a male witch.
No, I'm going to go male witch.
Male witch. You can call me a bitch too. That's fine. Bitch is actually pretty cool.
Listen, I'm looking over on the side here at ETH, and I'm kind of cheering for it because I know that our guy, Mr. House, has another short, and he needs it to get down to 1549, and we are getting close, 1551. I'm like counting it down over here. I don't want to derail you. I know that you're rolling, but I'm just cheering for our guy House here to get another W because he has been on fire today.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys, if you did have short positions or anything like that, I'm glad you guys are seeing some profit. It's amazing when you guys are making money. Some people think you can only make money to the upside. We'll disprove that a little bit later in the show. But yeah, there's definitely money to be made on the downside too. Just got to be careful because, we saw what happened with fucking Grayscale. It meant something till it didn't, and they liquidated people on both sides. So he's got to be careful. But again, head and shoulders on the macro. Total market cap. We still haven't broken from this. I still anticipate us to go down to the origin, right? Somewhere around here. Should be 730 billion. We're at 987 billion. I remember a few days ago, we were struggling to fucking break this 1.02 trillion. Look how much we've shot down today. Broke through this blue trend line again that we were finding support on. So we can get rid of this now. That doesn't mean anything. And we can close. Actually, I'm going to keep that up there. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But here's the 1 trillion. We can get rid of that. We know that we're under $1 trillion now. And yeah, so key resistance is going to be this 1.02. I think 1 trillion obviously is going to be key resistance for that, but we're going to keep that in mind when we see how this plays out. But again, this could take some time. If we're on the monthly, we can see that we're extremely overbought on the monthly, and we are starting to see some of the cracks in the foundation. And again, I think that what we are seeing here with this move, I could break this down into 5 ways. I can break it into 3 ways. I'll just keep it simple, but I think this is what we're seeing: A, B, C, and then obviously where it bottoms out, that remains to be seen. But I think we're putting in a corrective pattern. I could also argue that we're putting in an impulsive pattern too, but let's keep it with corrective just so we don't get ahead of ourselves. And we stay humble because we don't want to get greedy on the way down. That's not necessarily a good thing to be either. ETH, let's look at ETH real quick. 1551, good fucking numbers, right? We're seeing a lot of negative price action. We was due. We can see that this chart's starting to fill out. This is the monthly. Let's go to the daily. We can get rid of some of this shit too. Let's start cleaning up our charts. Let's get rid of that one up there. Let's get rid of this. No, we'll keep the green line. We'll get rid of some of these down here though. We'll get rid of 1375, and yeah, that should be fine. But we can see that it's playing out to a T. This pattern that we were talking about for ETH to go to the downside, this corrective pattern. We put in our high. I believe that's our high. I don't think we're gonna go above that anytime soon. On the daily, we can see that we are breaking. We broke underneath this, what looked like it was going to be a bull flag, but we broke right to, the Evergrande low.
Nice dump right there.
Yes, we did. Oh, congrats to everyone. And why is that? Because, yeah, I'm happy. That's amazing. That's the Evergrande low. So literally I was going to delete this. We can now, actually. That's 1541. That's taken care of there. So yeah, guys, this is what we're dealing with. We saw the death cross. This could have happened. We could have also saw a scam pump, but we didn't. We're seeing that the market is selling off. We're seeing that liquidity is extremely tight, and fuck off, fucking trading view. And there's liquidity is tight when I won't pay for trading view. But yeah, it's not great. And I say that with all my heart because it's not. I mean, fucking XRP is under 47 cents right now. Cardano's at 23 cents. Matic is sub 50 cents right now. BNB still being a bitch, 205. Could be better, but I'm not complaining.
Solana
Still in profit there.
1750.
Yeah, let's look at Solana because I've called this back at XRP. I said that this is probably the clearest pattern that I've seen out of this entire bear market. Everything has been lining up. And again, I've put all these patterns in before they finished, their final waves and shit like that. This one was easy. This ABC that we got into the XRP, SEC case, the win for not being a security. And then you knew that it was after a 3-wave move up, you're gonna get 5 waves down. And we're in the middle of this C wave right here. So there's still a lot of room to the downside, in my opinion. I don't think it's done by any means. And we still have another bounce up, and then we'll get another bounce down. Hopefully that takes us to the bottom of the bear market. Again, I've said that I'm bullish on Solana down here. I'm not bullish up here or anywhere else. I'm not going to buy into a dumping market. It just doesn't make sense for me personally. So when I look at Solana, yeah, I think that there is still some decent room to the downside. I think down here would be, what's that, 1290. I mean, I could see our bottom being somewhere around there, and get a little bit of a bounce, and then I think that we have to come down to this like $4.87, this $5 Solana that would clear this gap down here that we shot up from back in January. That was an insane pump up. But yeah, that's what we're seeing with Solana. All these alts are going to start bleeding as long as Bitcoin remains strong. Dominance is at 49.62 right now. And again, if we can't close above that 25.28K for Bitcoin, then we're going to go down to the 23.6K. It's going to bring all the alts down with it. And in turn, that also fucking brings up Bitcoin dominance. And again, I'm going to pull this up right now. This is Binance's market cap. Binance's market cap's insane. I don't know if people know this, but it's like $32 billion. Imagine if half of this went away, like CZ just sold off half of his holdings, or whoever is holding Binance that's not them, they're trying to prop the price up, goes away. It's going to fucking go right to Bitcoin dominance. It's going to shoot up. Alts are going to bleed out like crazy. Bitcoin doesn't even have to move that much, but the higher Bitcoin dominance goes, then it's bad news for alts, because even if Bitcoin decides to go up or down, it doesn't matter. People are going to go into Bitcoin. They're going to lose on these BTC pairs. It's a terrible, terrible place to be in altcoins. That's why, we've been shorting for, at least I've been shorting for a while, because I knew that Bitcoin dominance was on the rise. I think it's coming back. And, the thing is, you can see it on TradingView, it's 49.62. It rises and then it dumps. But as long as it stays up high here, I know it's over 50% excluding stables, it's gonna keep being very negative for altcoins. So that's pretty much a breakdown of what we're seeing in the market right now with crypto. Again, fucking, I'm happy to see some red, but I know that it's not over yet. We have to anticipate that there are going to be corrections, and this is going under the assumption that nothing's going to collapse, even though I do think something will collapse. I just have to be rational, because it's easy to get greedy down here, and intelligence comes in with not getting greedy and being able to survive even if you're right. So you just got to be careful here, make sure you preserve capital. At the same time, just be safe. I think that's the most important thing, not going over leverage too. So that's all I'm saying with crypto. Again, we're going to see the daily closes today. We'll talk more about it tomorrow in depth, but I do want to talk about some other things in the market that we should be keeping an eye on, maybe finding some value, because even though TradFi is going up, it will go down. There are things that we could potentially, find some good options in, and options being a pun there, because I'm talking about maybe options trading here. There's a lot of stocks that are extremely overbought. We know that, right? This is one that I've been bitching about for the longest. Marsh McLennan. Let me zoom out. But guys, come on. This is on the daily. Let's look at the fucking monthly. Tell me this is sustainable. I don't believe it is. And again, this is a company that does consulting work. Sure, they have a bunch of companies within them, but it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. And I look at this all the time, and it keeps going up. It's at 195. I thought 183 was going to be the top, pushed up even more than that, because this market can't be irrational at times. Still within the bear. This is a bear flag. Yeah, bear flag. Higher highs, higher lows. Yeah, it's still within the bear flag. I think it's going to break. But this is at the top. This is an all-time high where it currently is right now. So if we are anticipating a market downturn, does it go up from there when people are losing their jobs and companies are trying to offload, maybe outsourcing work to some of these consultant firms? I think that there's a good chance that they are going to follow with the market. Again, that's just me seeing that and seeing that chart. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm looking for value. This is one that I think that still has plenty of room to the downside. I'm not telling you to get in on this. I might get in on it maybe in a few days or so. Again, I'm just trying to be cautious here, having cash on hand just in case something happens within the market. But I think that, when you're looking for things like this, where the downside potential is greater than the upside potential, um, definitely bring that into question, right? So I'm looking at this right now. I think that if we're looking at the last the last recession, which was back in 2008, we could see that it dropped from about $36 a share all the way down to roughly $17 a share, which is a 53.66% move. And if we look at this from where we are currently to 53.66, where that could lead us, 56.33, that's roughly between that white and green line. That's right around here, which is about $84. I was looking down here at the COVID low, which is at 61%, which I don't think is out of the range of possibility. Again, the question is, are people anticipating this? So that's when you're looking for options and stuff like that. If you are going to short it that way, or if you're going to actually short it with capital, keep an eye on, are people estimating that bad things can't go wrong? Because I think a lot of people are underestimating the possibility of absolute collapse of a lot of these stocks and prices of some of these assets. And I'll take a look at that with one short that I'm going to.
If I hear one more fucking person talk about how bullish the halving is going to be,
it's stupid, dude.
My mind, like,
I fucking hate it.
I get it. The last cycles we've seen it go up as a result of the halving. Just because it did that before doesn't mean it's going to do it again. This is completely different times, like economically, globally. Like, come on.
It's stupid, dude.
It's so dumb. Like, God, Jesus Christ. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're totally valid. I texted you in house earlier. I said any chimp with a fucking TD account and a couple $100 could have made money from 2010 to fucking 2021, right? All you had to do was buy. No one ever faced any type of fucking downside that was substantial between that time, especially if they got into trading in that time. Markets have a way of humbling people. They will. The halving has not gone through a recessionary period, has not gone through a liquidity crunch that we're currently facing. If you think it's bullish, I'm not going to shit on you, but it just doesn't make sense how money is going to be that easy to be made. Money's not that easy to be made. If it was, everyone would be a fucking millionaire, but people mess up along the way. But let's look at this. This is something that we talked about a few weeks ago. Truist, they said that they're going to have sizable job cuts to save $300 million in costs. This was one that was on our FHLB loan list. They had a huge amount. I shorted them. I bought some puts, a while back. They're that's another company, just like, I believe, who was it, Charles Schwab, that was announcing that they were going to lay off tons of people. These banks are laying off people. They're closing these chains. They're branches in several places. California's having tons of banks, physical banks, absolutely close their branches. Some of those were, PNC's had a couple of them. Fucking Schwab, Wells Fargo, a bunch of branches are closing in California, some in New York, and some in their respective states where they're from. But this is something we have to keep in mind. That list gave us a huge up on what some of the people are saying. Regional banks are the problem. They might be some of the problem, but again, Truist isn't a small bank in terms of how many people have money over 250K. So seeing this is another thing you have to keep in mind. The banks are still fucked, in my opinion, but there is value to the downside, even if you're seeing some of this, right? The bank doesn't have to go up in price for you to make money. You can make money on the way down too. You just have to be reasonable about where you're buying some of your puts, or if you're buying, their options. The last one I do want to talk about today, and I'll show you on Robinhood, just because I got a few bucks in Robinhood. I'm not going to buy it, but I'll show you guys some of the undervalue and how you have to go shopping for options, is Chipotle. It's probably not something you guys expected me to talk about. Chipotle fucking currently trading at like $1,950 a share. And I'm going to pull up this right now. It's actually one of the stocks that Jim Cramer is currently watching. So if that doesn't give you fucking hope, there you go. But yeah, the reason I want to pull up Chipotle is because we know that consumers are heavily heavily fucked when it comes to consumer credit and how much debt they have. I mean, even after we did our show the other day, we saw that a lot of people are making less money and they're not able to pay off their mortgages, and the mortgages are going, the mortgage loans are going down, assets are becoming debt. That's not a good thing for consumers. But Chipotle is another situation where, it's pretty expensive for the average consumer, and you're not getting a ton of value in terms of, food size always. So I think a lot of people are going to, start to cut back on options like that. So let's pull up TradingView, and I want to look at Chipotle from 2008 and see how it performed, right? So this is Chipotle. This is fucking insane, 100% how much it shot up. And it went all the way up to about 21.72. So roughly on par with ETH in some of those prices. Not anymore. But if we look back to 2008, we saw that it shot down a ton. It went from $155 a share all the way down to $36 a share, which is about a 76% return, negative 76% dump from that high at the time. And we're going to go all the way to where we currently are. Again, there's not a lot of fucking support in these areas on the monthly. I mean, you have support here at around 748, a little bit under here around 12, but I want to just do the same exact math, and let's go from there. 76% would be roughly around $500 or so per share. And again, we're anticipating global collapse. But again, this is a thing where we have to look for value, where people are not looking for value, right? I'm going to share my screen with Robinhood right now, and we're going to see that people are not anticipating bad things happening. And the mixture of things that you have to, combine to make a decent estimation is, time and also price action. And are people genuinely positioning themselves in a way where they can make money? So this is I just pulled up to buy puts on Chipotle here in Robinhood. You can see that some of the prices are fairly high, but if you go down low enough, you can see that there are some, 940, 960, they're currently trading for $2.75. So you buy, 100 of those, because you got to buy them in 100 lots. That gives you $275 or so that you're spending. Let's add it here. And then we could see that the most amount of profit that we could potentially make on this would be about $93,725. And again, for a $275 bet, I'm not saying that it's going to hit, but we do know that there's a good chance that if Chipotle does face something that's very similar to 2008, say it goes to, $500 a share, right? That's $43,000 you can make on that off of that $275. So if you buy a couple of those, there's a good chance you could fucking make a decent amount of money. And I don't think people don't want to anticipate something better is happening. People are trying to make money the easiest way possible. This seems like, oh yeah, Chipotle will never fucking hit that, right? It's too big to fail. Guys, you have to ask your questions. There's a lot of value like this. Morningstar is another one. Morningstar is at $250 a share right now. I can honestly see that going to 100. I'm not saying it will. I'm not giving you financial advice, but there are things people are not anticipating, and you can make a ton of money if you are smart enough, you do your research, and you kind of take advantage of other people's ignorance of where things could potentially go in the future. And again, this is a put that expires March 15th, so you got about 6 months or so before it would expire. But again, I think there's extreme value there if we were to see some type of collapse. Again, everything would have to go fucking tits up. But I mean, you can go further out, and there's a good chance that some of these could still hit. You just wouldn't make as much as you would have to pay more for the contract. So that's something I just wanted to bring up, because this is I think this is one bet I probably will get in on. It was a lot cheaper this morning, so maybe someone started buying some of these contracts thinking smart. But we can see that the strike price is a lot higher than where it was this morning. I was looking at $800 for the strike price. I don't see that contract anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of value in this market where we haven't even seen the drop yet. We're on the edge of one. I've talked for like 20 minutes straight, but I just wanted to share this with you because there are people out there who will tell you that Bitcoin's going to the fucking moon and everything else is fine. We are facing headwinds. There is value in places where people are not looking, and that's what we're here to do. We're just here to bring it up. I'm not telling you to go and short any of these things, but if you are curious and want to make money, if you look in places where people aren't anticipating, if you're smarter than both of us combined, you'll be able to find a fucking golden nugget somewhere in this market. So that's all I got to say on that. I've talked too much. JWeb, take it away.
I was just sitting back, and that was a just let him cook moment. I thought it was great. I'm good. This is my second of 3 shows I'm hosting today. So, the old boys could use a little bit of rest, but I think that was awesome. I love the Chipotle call. Listen, man, I don't know the last time you went to Chipotle. That shit's fucking expensive. Like
That's what I
trying to
said,
get,
man.
dude, like getting dinner for my wife and I, it's like almost $40. Like, what the fuck is this? It's crazy. Like, are people really, when it comes time to deciding, fill up my car with gas or eat at Chipotle, which one am I going to do? I think it's a pretty easy choice right there. But anyway, those kind of bets, depending on how much you would put in something like that, that smaller downside with a huge multiple, something that no one wants to really even think about happening. Those are the trades that are, not gonna say life changing, but they can really set you up for, the long haul. And this is why having your money in order, stacking cash, waiting for opportunities is always going to, like finding that lifestyle balance of living your life, but also preparing for the opportunities to accumulate assets, accumulate wealth is so damn important. So that I think is a great way for us to end today's show. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Looking forward to seeing what other sort of shenanigans are taking place in the markets. If you have not yet, hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a like on today's video, a comment, a shout out on social media is greatly appreciated. I know that we are not the moon boys that a lot of people love to hear these days. We're just trying to be honest. We're not here to be influencers. We're here to, try to give as much quality advice as we can. None of it being financial advice, though. So, with that being said, join us tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for watching. Mr. House, Randy, I think we saw Payne up there. Thank you for being here. There's a few others who are watching right now. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.
Take care, everyone.